Hey YouTube, Nick here. I'm back with another chess game to show you guys. This game actually had the white pieces. In my last few videos, this is number 4 right now, I think. I was always showing you guys games with the black pieces because usually when I have a good game, it just works out like that. My most exciting games, I usually have the black pieces, but this is a game where I have the white pieces, and I'm going to show you guys how I play in one of my favorite openings with the white pieces. One of my favorite openings in general, the Lopez. This is an opening I feel every chess player should learn and know how to play pretty well. And it's good to know it from both sides. And I honestly think this is one of the most fun. I think it is the most fun opening to play. It's just so versatile. There's so many different ways you can play it. This is called the Lopez. It's been around since the 1500s, and it's been popular ever since. It's played today at the highest level. All right, but without further ado, I've got my game right here to show you guys. This game was played tonight, and I could tell my opponent didn't know this opening very well, which led to his demise. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. This is the setup for the Lopez. Now, if you don't understand the moves leading up to here, this is all just basic development. I'm grabbing the center, he grabs the center back. e4, e5 is pretty much the most common first move in chess for both colors. It's really probably the first one you should learn. Knight f3 attacks his pawn again. Knight c6 protects the pawn I'm attacking. And then bishop b5 gets my bishop out. I'm already ready to castle, and it's attacking that knight. So there's already all kinds of tricks here. And there's things you just know if you're a Lopez player. Like if you're seeing this position for the first time, which I'm sure most of you are not seeing it for the first time, but like you might think if you take this knight, he takes back, you win a pawn. But then there's queen d4, which you don't actually win a pawn. So there's like this opening is very theoretical, and you have to know what tricks work and what don't. In this position here, in my opinion, there's only 2 moves, and what my opponent played was neither of them. The best move, far and away the best move here, is a6, to kick this bishop and ask him, are you going to take the knight or are you going to come back to a4? Those are pretty much a6, bishop a4 is main line. Another option is knight f6. Knight f6 has the option of going into what's called the Berlin endgame. It's a very famous endgame in chess history. Garry Kasparov famously couldn't really crack it against Karpov. It's a very tough endgame. Excuse my cough. But what my opponent played here was queen f6. This is not one of the main moves. Your knight should be on that square, not your queen. You shouldn't be bringing your queen out so early. And because he played this move, and because I am already very comfortable in this opening, I basically blew him off the board. And I want to show you guys how this game went through. Again, I'm an intermediate player. I feel like I have some value as a commentator in the fact that I am an intermediate chess player and not an international master or grandmaster. I've got my computer next to me, so you know I am telling you what the best moves are in most of these cases, but I'm also showing you the mistakes that I made as an intermediate player, the mistakes that my opponent made as an intermediate player. So in a sense, this is more valuable to a fellow intermediate player because I'm making moves that you might make yourself. But I'm also making a lot of the best moves. And in the areas where I made mistakes, I'm going into it with the computer. Also, I just really enjoy sharing these games of mine. And anyone who watches these, thank you so much for watching. But without further ado, all right, he plays queen f6. That's apparently is still a book move, but it's not a very good one. It's already almost +1 here because you're just not supposed to bring your queen out so early. It's not a very principled move. c3 here, which is the main move in most of the it's a good move in most lines here in the Lopez. The idea is after c3, not knight c3, because you don't want to keep your pawn here on c2. c3, because you want to tuck your bishop in on c2. It's after he gets kicked with something like a6, bishop a4, b5. You want your bishop on c2, and he's already on this nice long diagonal, aiming long term at h7, but he's also helping to support your e4 pawn. And also c3, besides offer, the more immediate thing it does is it prepares for you to be able to play d4, possibly even on the next move. So c3, and now he plays bishop c5, which would be a really great move if he had his knight here and not his queen. And this would be a very typical setup. But because he's brought his queen out so early, the way he's developed his pieces, this is already a +1 position, just because I've moved my pieces in a more principled way than he has. Now here I played a move which I'm sure some of you will not agree with. Obviously, I probably should have played d4 right away. That was the point of playing c3. Instead, I decided to delay with d4 because I wanted to get one more piece protecting, because, I mean, he's got 4 defenders of this d4 square, and I've only got 3 defenders. So if you count, he's got the knight, he's got the bishop, he's got the pawn, and he's got the queen behind the pawn. So that's 4, and I've got the pawn, the knight, and then the queen behind my pawn. But so it's 4v3. But if this d pawn ever moves, then this knight will be pinned. So that's an element in it. I also probably could have definitely castled on this turn. Instead, I decided to play d3 because I wanted to bring my bishop into e3. And if he would have taken it, I would have been happy to recapture with the f pawn, because after I castle, my rook will already be here on f1, aiming at that queen if my knight moves out of the way. So I'm already kind of thinking a couple moves ahead with this d3 move. And I know I want to put my bishop on e3, and I'm setting up to play d4. So it does say d3 is an inaccuracy. The game's about equal. I should have played d4, because if I played d4, e takes d4, then I have e5, and I get a really nice center. So it's saying I should have played something like this. d4, e takes d4, e5 attacking the queen, queen here, take back, check, knight here. And this is sort of, well, this is obviously a very nice setup for the white pieces. I've got control of the center. I've got most of my pieces developed already. Yeah, this would have been good had I gone for this. But my plan also worked out. So let's just go back to how the game actually went. So that was there. This was here. This was here. And this was here. All right, so I have just played d3, preparing to play bishop e3. And he played, let's see, bishop c5, d3. He played h6 here, which is a pretty passive move. He said, Stockfish says it's an excellent move. I mean, let's see what the best move was. The best move, yeah, the best move, I agree. It would be knight g7, just developing your other knight, getting your other knight into the game. He plays h6, which I thought was kind of passive. I seized the opportunity to castle my king, a move I wanted to get in anyways. And now he plays knight g7, developing his other piece. I play bishop e3, hoping to get f takes e5 off. I would be happy with that. Instead, he plays d6, which prepares to get his light squared bishop in. And now I play d4. And his light squared bishop doesn't have a lot of squares. He could come back to b6, or he could take my pawn. Those were really the only 2 options. Now he played a move which was not good here. Now I will say, yeah, Stockfish says you should play e takes d4, and you're black still holding on. He castled here. All right, I'm pretty sure most of y'all watching this would not have played this move. This move was a straight up blunder. Now, the reason he did it was because I think he thought he saw that he was losing a piece no matter what, but he wasn't. He still had ways to complicate things instead of just giving me the straight up piece. He definitely should have taken here, and that would have been close to equal. But here was the thing. He saw if he moves his bishop out of the way, then I have this attack on his knight. But he can take here first and complicate things. And yeah, I'm probably still going to get the knight, and I'm probably going to be up in exchange. Although Stockfish's line, I wasn't up anything after Stockfish's line. Stockfish's line says takes, then bishop back, and then it wants just knight c3 and then let him castle. So, I mean, that's probably what he should have done. But he just gave me a free bishop, which, okay. I'm happy to take a free bishop. He castles here. And I take my free bishop. And let's see. He played rook d8 here, hoping to get a discovered attack on my queen when he recaptures. Of course, I see that, and I went ahead and put my knight in front of my queen. So now if he recaptures, he's not aiming at my queen. He plays a6 to get my bishop, and I played bishop a4 because I realized if he does the normal Roy Lopez trick now, if he plays b5, I actually have c takes b6 en passant, which is kind of funny. He plays bishop g4 here, aiming at my queen through the bishop or through the knight. So a decent move. And I don't really want to play something like h3 because, I mean, bishop takes h3, g takes h3. I've opened up my king in that scenario. And, you know, if he goes for an all-out attack against my king, I mean, he doesn't have that much in terms of pieces over here, especially if he gives up the bishop, but I don't want to give him any kind of counterplay. So I played queen e1 here, just stepping out of the pen. And it's a bit prophylactic, and you'll see why in a second. Now he plays b5. So he walked right into my trap. Little en passant. C takes b6. C takes b6. Bishop takes b6. And I've won a pawn. And then he played rook db8 because my bishop was aiming at that rook. So he steps to a square where he's attacking my bishop. And now here's why it was prophylactic. So now I have queen e3. I had anticipated this exact line. I anticipated him to play b5 and let me en passant. It was funny. He gave me a look after I played en passant. Like, he forgot that that was a move in chess. It's funny because I'm actually a decently rated player. I mean, I'm not like super high rated, but you would think my opponent would know about en passant. He didn't tell me it was an illegal move, so I guess he realized too late. But at least he didn't pull the classic like, what? That's not how pawns move. But so I played queen e3 here to protect my bishop. He pulls this rook down, preparing to double up. I played rook a d1 here. Again, a prophylactic move. I'm planning on playing knight c4 at the right moment and ganging up on this pawn up here with an attack on that queen. He plays bishop e6 here, a move that threw me off because I was like, aren't you going to double up? And here's where something funny happened. So in chess, there's a rule that if you touch a piece, and in tournament play, if you touch a piece, you must move the piece that you touched. So the line that I had basically premeditated was he doubles up his rooks, like was the clear plan here. And then I was going to come here, knight c4, and be double attacking that pawn on d6. That was the clear plan here. But he surprised me with this little bishop e6 move. And now if I play knight c4, I'm just hanging my knight. So luckily, if you touch a piece, you have to move the piece that you touched. Luckily, though, I don't have to go to c4. b3 is not as bad. But yeah, it was funny. I premeditated. Okay, he's gonna play rook b8, and I was like, I'm gonna go knight c4. But then he played bishop e6, and without thinking, I let my finger touch the knight, and now all of a sudden I'm committed to moving the knight. So I have to go knight b3. Because if I go knight c4, I'm just giving him a free knight. Which, yeah. Now he plays bishop takes b3, which gives him time to act. And I play a takes b3. If I play bishop takes b3, then after rook a b8, I'm hanging my dark squared bishop. But after a takes b3, which I'm not sure honestly if it really mattered. A takes b3, yeah, a takes b3 was best. He plays rook a b8, and I'm pretty sure here okay. So this wasn't the best move. Well, I played. What was the best move? Yeah, bishop takes c6. Bishop takes c6 was an option I was calculating. I played bishop c5. Because after d takes c5, I'm going to play queen takes c5. If you look at the position here, there's no square for my dark squared bishop to go to. I can't come here because the knight will get me. And then every other square is protected by his rook or his pawns. So apparently Stockfish wanted me to play this move, but I thought he would just replace it with another knight. And then I'm losing the dark squared bishop anyways. Apparently, after bishop takes c6, knight takes c6, there's a really, really complicated line that is not much better than what actually happened. So I'm not even going to show the moves that it just did. It just did like a 10 move sequence that like no human would ever find. So I played bishop here, giving it up. He took it back, obviously. And then I brought my queen out to c5. And from here, I've sort of given up my my piece up advantage because of that stupid touch move where he played bishop e6 when I was expecting him to play rook b8. I had to come to knight b3, and all of a sudden I've accidentally gave him back some of the material. I'm still winning though, at least. Now, actually here I'm threatening a move, rook d6, and his queen doesn't have very many squares she can go to, and then I win the knight. So if he doesn't play, if he makes a nothing move, I don't know, king h8, then I have rook d6, let's say queen f4, basically the only move, and then takes, and I'm winning a piece. So he saw that, to his credit. He didn't see freaking just giving me a free bishop with d4, but he saw this move, which is kind of funny. He plays knight d8, which holds things together. Now if I play rook d6, he can block with a knight, which he didn't have before. I went ahead and played knight takes e5 because it's a free pawn. It did get me into maybe a little bit of a sharp position. Maybe I should have taken with the queen, but I took with the knight. And now he comes knight e6 to attack my queen. I went ahead and went queen a5. Let's see what Fish says is the best move here. Okay, Fish wanted me to play queen d6. I had to pick a square where I was still holding down the knight and was safe for my queen. So I went with queen a5. Queen a5 worked out for me. He played queen g5, which, okay, he's aiming at my queen through my knight. If my knight moves, I lose my queen. But I've got this nice little move, knight c4. Now if he takes my queen, I can take back with the knight I just moved. He's still making it complicated. He goes knight c5 to attack my bishop. Here, I go rook d8 check. And if he takes, I take back with check. And I get my queen out of there. But he goes king h7. And so I take him, and he takes back. All this, I feel doesn't need much comment. And then here, I went b4, which I thought was a kind of fun move. If he moves the knight, then I take his queen. Luckily, his queen is protected by his H pawn, so it's not like he's hanging the queen, but I'm up material. So if I'm able to take that queen for just an even exchange, I'm willing to do that because I'm up material. So it's a winning endgame if I get the queens off. But he plays what's probably the best move. Knight takes a4. We'll see. His knight takes a4. Yeah, knight takes a4 is the best move because now I have the option of trading queens, but the material is basically even. So I want to keep my piece up. So I take back the knight, which is obviously, I feel, pretty obvious what you should do. Now he plays queen f6, just kind of a nothing move, just putting his queen on a square where she's more in the game. Actually, his queen is a target there because I can play queen c2, and I'm threatening e5 with check. So that would win the queen. If he doesn't move his queen here, I'm gonna play e5, and then it's check. So he has to move the king, and then I take his queen. He sees that, and he plays king g8. So he steps back with his king, and I go e5 anyways, just to attack his queen. He plays queen f4. Now it's just a cleanup job. I go queen e2, which is protecting my knight, because queen f4 attacked my knight, and then the knight was defending the pawn. So here it protects both pieces. It's a little triangulation thing. He goes knight f5, and I said, if you want, I'll give you this pawn back, because I'm still going to be up 2 pawns, and I'm happy to take pieces off the board. So that was my logic behind this move. I know I'm hanging the pawn, but I go ahead and I play knight d6, because after knight takes d6, e takes d6, queen takes d6, it's like, okay, I gave you back a pawn. Oh no, I don't really care. I'm still up 2 pawns, and this is a completely winning endgame. And that pawn was, I mean, it would be nice if I was able to promote it, but I don't think he was going to let me promote it. It was an isolated pawn. I was kind of babysitting it anyways. I'm happy to trade it off. And so now I play rook d1. He plays queen c6. And here I made a safe move. I probably could have started attacking. I decided to make one safe move since the position allows it. I decided to play h3 because I don't want to start attacking him and then accidentally get back ranked. That would be a rookie mistake. Here he plays queen a4, aiming at my rook. So if my queen moves out of the way, then he's going to snap take my rook. I played rook d5, hoping to maybe trap his queen, or if he pushes this pawn, I can take it with the rook. He plays rook e8, and here I think I played a kind of a nice move. I played rook a5. You take my queen, I take yours, and I'm winning that. So he played queen d7 to save his queen. I played queen takes a6 because he hung the pawn, and he doesn't really have anything. I did check this position to make sure he doesn't have any perpetual checks. He doesn't, because after rook e1 check, king h2, the check you would like to be able to play is queen d6 check, but my queen is guarding it horizontally. So here he plays queen d2, which actually is it's an inaccuracy, but it's basically a game-ending blunder, because after queen c1 check, queen c8 check, there is this move guarantees wins a rook. He has to play rook e8 and give me the free rook, or else it's mate in 5. He plays king h7 though, and now I'll give you a couple seconds to find the mate in 5. It's super easy. Queen f5 check, king comes back, rook a8, and now he has to, actually I guess his mate in 4, he has to give me the queen and the rook, so he just resigned here. It was a super fun game. I sort of blew him off the board. Some key takeaways that I got from this game are, one, don't be too hesitant to push into the center too early with d4. I kind of hesitated and played d3. Know some of the most common openings in chess. The Roy Lopez is an opening you have to know. And if you're going to play it, you got to play one of the main moves, at least as early as move 3. You got to know what to do there. You got to be able to make it at least 5 moves into an opening. Queen f6 is not a move as far as I'm concerned. And then just some of my other takeaways are, if you see that your opponent has a tricky tactic, at least try to make it challenging. Him just giving me that free bishop on c5 because he thought he was losing a piece no matter what, at least make it challenging. But those are just some of the things I thought of. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched this, by the way, I went ahead and bought Pokemon Violet, so if anyone watching this is into Pokemon, I would be happy to start making videos for Pokemon. But yeah, this was my game from tonight. I was really happy to show it off. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day / good night, and bye.